So for obvious reasons, I get a lot of questions about flash on the Leica cameras, and what I use and what works in TTL and you know, what works in high-speed sync. And the SF40 is probably my favorite and first choice in flash for the Leica M11, M10, Q2, Q3, I'm sure. I haven't tried it on the Q3, but it works great on the Q2. This thing is just a gorgeous flash, and I love this for events. It just does a great job. TTL is pretty good. It's not like the Sony system where I have a Sony flash and a Sony camera and TTL's spot on every time. This is pretty darn close to really, really good, if that makes sense. Now, here's the thing with this. In high-speed sync, you have to be in TTL or auto mode. It will not work in manual mode, okay? And it doesn't work with any of the systems for Leica in that mode. So if you want to use high-speed sync, you got to be in TTL or auto mode. And it's kind of a hindrance, honestly. And using a flash like this outdoors in high-speed sync just doesn't make much sense anyway, even if you're direct flash. But if you insist on using it, it will work in TTL mode. If you're in manual mode, you're at the 1/80th of a second sync speed. That's it. And just remember, there's a little lightning bolt on your dial here, and it's easy to miss. You know, so you really have to make sure it's on there and locked in. Otherwise, you know, everybody says, "Oh, it doesn't work for me." And again, high-speed sync, you can go up to, I believe it's 4,000 in high-speed sync if you're in TTL mode, or on this flash, it also is auto mode. But I don't know why you'd use auto mode. TTL works as good, if not better, than auto mode. Anyway, nice flash. And the other reason I love the SF40 is because of this dome with this long, and it's really long, so I can put this up in, and I've said this many times on my channel, so like when I tilt this up and I'm at an event, I'm just lifting off the camera more, really. You know, most of the ceilings I shoot in are too high or too dark, it doesn't really matter, but lifting this card up inside of here, which I really love this flash for doing this. You know, the other flashes, you have to take this off and pull it out this way. This one, it's right there. And I can just leave this on and push it up like that. You know, so there's no issue with it. Anyway, so my first recommendation for a flash is this one. Now, if you want off-camera flash, you know, whether it's handheld or whatever, the SF60 has the CF1. Now, here's the thing. If you get the CF1 for the Leica, okay, follow me on this. If you get the CF1 for the Leica branded one, and you get the SF60 equivalent, which is the Nissan, I think it's the I60, which is half the price, if not less, that will work in any brand format. Just follow me on that. Now, here's the thing. You can't use the I60 on camera, but if you wanted off camera, if you wanted to save a dime, that's the way to go. Get the Nissan I60, but you have to have the CF1 for the Leica. And just make sure you upgrade the software on the I60. Okay, that being said, let's get to the next one, which everybody wants to know. This is the Profoto Connect Pro for Leica. Now, you know I use those buttons all the time. Now, the button I use is for Nikon. I can only use it on manual, but I love it on this camera. It's so tiny, so let me get it. Okay, so this is the button one I use. It's just spectacular on camera. It's so small. I love these, absolutely positively love these. And I would rather shoot in manual and use this button on the Leica than shooting in TTL with the Connect Pro. Now, the reason I have the Connect Pro is this has better transmission in location shoots. Like in studio, it doesn't matter. I have no interference in here. This works fantastic. But some places I go, they have interference and it will screw up the little one. It won't screw up the big one. That's the first thing. The second thing is they do not make this in Leica mount. They only make it in Nikon. Now I have these for everything. I have this for Nikon, I have this for Sony, I have this for my Olympus. I have it for every camera I have. I have one of these. But this is the Leica version of the Connect Pro. Love this thing. Again, only in auto mode can you go into high-speed sync with this. You can't put this in manual mode and go into high-speed sync. It just won't even flash. You know, it won't even give you that half flash, you know, where you get the line through, it just won't flash. Put it in auto mode, then you can go up to 4 thousandths of a second. Anyway, I hope this helps. I know everybody is always asking about this one. Just get the Nikon version. You know, the pins line up. It doesn't work in TTL, but you won't have any issues with it. And you can shoot in manual all day long with this little thing in a handheld or, you know, a regular Profoto. In TTL mode, this is pretty decent. Again, I'm spoiled at the level of the Sonys because the Sony flash on the Sony camera is so good in TTL. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's the best I've ever used. And I can trust it, which I can't really say that about any other flash system I use. Now, this is pretty decent. You know, you'll get a little hot spot here or there, or, you know, underexposure, but it's decent. That's pretty much the best that I've had with Leica. But for on camera, I recommend the SF40. It is smaller than the SF60. It's lighter weight. I just love this feature on this flash, period. You know, this flash just works, and it's not too heavy on the camera, honestly. You know, it has some weight to it, obviously, because you're so used to the camera as is, but this system, it's fantastic. You know, it does a great job. And you've seen my past videos. If you haven't, go back and look at my, you know, event videos. I use this, and it just does a great job. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave them below. Thanks for watching as always.